Hello, welcome to this week's Forex Outlook here at xm.com. I'm Raf Boyajian, currency analyst, and here with me is our chief economist, Michalis Florentiadis. Michalis, it's been was a really dramatic week. The week started off on a pretty negative note once again. Stocks extending their declines. Then we saw a sudden turnaround. We saw the dollar index falling back from 16 months highs, and we saw a big jump in the pound, the Aussie, the Kiwi, as well as the euro. So what were the drivers of these moves?
That's right, Rafi. It's very interesting what you noted because for the last few days we've had a reversal of the moves that we have had for in the fairly recent past. Particularly, there was a big rally in stock markets. We did have the worst. It was still October was one of the worst months in many years, so that was very significant for the market. But we did see a relief rally coming out of that. Now, maybe this rally was due. There were many expecting that down moves are not happening all in a continuous fashion. There are rallies. So this is the big question, whether this rally is going to be sustainable and whether we are going to test the highs. Of course, seasonally, we are also entering a stronger part of the year. So this is very interesting. We also had some good news with respect to trade. Nothing concrete yet, but we did have President Trump make some positive statements with respect to what that he expects to deal with China. So that is going to be interesting to watch, whether we have a rollback of the tension around trade. And this rally happened despite the fact that one of the market darlings, Apple, disappointed with respect to its sales, and particularly with respect to its guidance, I would say, particularly over the holiday period. As you said, the Aussie was a key beneficiary because if there are fewer trade tensions, then perhaps China is going to do better, and as China is Australia's main export market, this helped the Aussie in particularly. And of course, you mentioned sterling, a very big rally in the pound because there is some optimism that we are going to get a Brexit deal. There were sounds about that. And it was quite interesting that both the UK budget that was delivered this week and also the Bank of England meeting, I think I would dare to say that the focus was on getting everyone to support a deal if a deal were to happen. So I think that is very interesting, the focus of these two key events being Brexit, but particularly in the way that it was seen. We are going to see, of course, we don't have something concrete or a deal that has already been struck, so we have to see whether it's another false start for sterling or whether this is going to be something substantial. But we're also running out of time, so hopefully we will get a deal. So I think this is the background, Rafi, for what we've seen. What can we expect next week? And are we going to see maybe is it going to be a key week for the dollar, because it has been weakening significantly? It has given up substantial part of its gains.
That's right. The dollar has fallen quite a bit towards the end of the week. I could see some further volatility next week. We've got the midterm elections on Tuesday. The Republicans are expected to lose majority in the House of Representatives. So if that happens and they get to keep the Senate, the dollar should be safe for the time being, because it's already mostly been priced in. On the other hand, if there are any surprises, either way, we could see both stocks and dollar seeing some volatility. We're also going to have the Federal Reserve meeting as well next week. And although the Fed isn't expected to make any changes in interest rates in the current meeting, investors will still be watching for any changes in the language to see whether or not the Fed is being sensitive to the sell-off we saw in stock markets in the US The US, of course, was no exception. It was going to be other central bank meetings too. We've got the Reserve Bank of Australia and Reserve Bank of New Zealand making their policy decisions. On the data front, we're going to have some trade numbers coming out of China. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not so far exports have been holding up pretty well, whether or not we're going to see that the front-loading effects subsiding and perhaps exports falling, starting to ease a little for China. We're also going to have UK GDP numbers, the first reading for the third quarter, and we're going to see the Bank of Japan's summary for the meeting that we saw this week, which we saw the yen falling back a little bit after that, after the Bank of Japan lowered its inflation forecasts.
So I think I agree with you, Rafi, that the US midterm elections are going to be key. It's difficult to forecast the exact market reaction around the results, but politics has certainly been a very important driving force for markets, particularly in the US. So we'll have to see about that and what those mean with respect to tax cuts. And of course, any further guidance from the Fed, what it's thinking about its next moves, is also going to drive dollar flows. So thank you very much, Rafi, for your input. Thank you everyone for watching and have a great day.